So now you understood what we did on the first day, and you may be thinking, so what's next in Linguistics 200? I am going to look at both kind of the short term, so what are the immediate assignments due, and then also a little bit more long term at our first major set of assignments, the big projects that you're going to have to look out for. So the next thing that's due you want to think about is the homework. So there are going to be some assignments due by Monday evening. Those are due on Blackboard by 11:59 p.m. that you should be doing the Engaging Questions Chapter 1. So that means that you're looking at the activity on page 11. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So page 11 has this activity where it's a writer's notebook, and you're reading this article that starts on page 9, and then you're going to be asking 2 questions and writing your answer to them. And the 2 questions that you're going to be using are these types of question frames from pages 8 and 9. And this is all written out on Blackboard. So if you go online to Blackboard, you can find information about it on the course documents. So if you go to the course documents, you go to Unit 1, and then you can see that it lists the homework here. So here's that first assignment, and it gives a description of it. And then when you're done with that assignment, you can go and you can turn it in right here where in the assignments portion of Blackboard where it says critically thinking about and questioning pits. One thing to note is that if you turn in a Word document or a PDF, I'll be able to give feedback. If you turn in a scan or a photo or something like a Pages document, I won't be able to give feedback just because of the restrictions of the Blackboard software. So just keep that in mind. I'll still give credit if I can, if it's a legible file, but I won't be able to give feedback if it's just like a photo or something like that. So that is going to be where you can find the first assignment that's due. I'm hoping I can look at your questions, look at your ideas, and glean some things from your responses so that I'm able to bring that into the class on Tuesday. The next assignment that you have to think about is going to be due on Tuesday. So you're reading the Sifferlin article, which is Let's Move, but Not with Shaq and Beyonce. And then you're also completing the reading packet. So if you're looking at Blackboard, I'm going to go back to the course documents, Unit 1, and this post right here. You can find a link to the article here. Of course, if you buy the book, the anthology, it's going to be the 3rd reading in there. But if you haven't bought that yet, you can still complete the assignment by finding the article online. So I posted that link to it and you can read it there. And then also you can find the reading packet, which is right here. I already have it downloaded. If you were in class on Thursday, you got a copy of this and it's all printed out. Please complete this and be ready to discuss it on Tuesday. So also, you can find all of this information in the Living Reader, which I'm going to discuss a little bit more in a bit, but for now I'm just using kind of Blackboard as the resource since it's all there in one place. The next thing that's due is going to be 2 different online quizzes or surveys, things like that. So the first one is a syllabus quiz, and that's on Blackboard. So that means that go take that quiz. You can take it as many times as you want. So that means you can get 100% on it and have that affect your grade well. If you take it once and you get a low score and you're fine with that, That's okay. Just remember that will affect your grade because you won't be getting the full points. It's part of the homework grade. It's one assignment, so it won't significantly impact your grade, but you do have that control. You do have that opportunity to learn a little bit more about the class. And let me show you where that is. If you're on Blackboard, you can go to the assignment section, and it's going to be the first item there. So just go ahead and take that quiz. And then last but not and then this last homework that I gave out on January 24th is the information survey. So you can find that also, again, on Blackboard. If you go to the course documents, there's a link to it right here. Where it has the survey link here, and then also on the announcements portion of Blackboard, there is the initial survey link right here. So you can click on that. I think it'll show up a little bit differently for me, but this is the gist of it, where you fill out your information and you submit it so that way I can learn a little bit more about you and better structure the class for your needs and your strengths, your weaknesses, things like that, and help you the best way I can. So those are the assignments that are due in the next week or so. Hope you can stay on top of those. And then the last thing I encourage you to do is to acquire the textbooks. These are listed on the syllabus, so you can get engaging questions and then the anthology of readings for Linguistics 200. If you want to share with a classmate or something like that, that's fine. You just need to be bringing those books to every class, so that because we might be referencing them, we might be looking at them. So please bring those to every class. Please make sure you have a copy of them or a copy you can use, something like that. I'll be supplying materials through the end of week 2, but after that, I expect that all students will have the textbook. Note that all of the Linguistics 200 classes use the same textbooks. So if you have a situation where you're waitlisted or you might switch to another section, you can of Linguistics 200, you can buy those textbooks knowing that the other teachers will be using the exact same textbooks. So remember that. Please buy those textbooks as soon as you can, so that way there's no holdup on materials, especially if you prefer to have those physical copies over digital copies, because I won't be able to supply any digital copies of anything, but I won't be able to supply physical copies, but I will be able to supply the digital copies of like the articles and things like that for the first week or so. All right, another thing to think about is that in week 5, your first paper will be due. And then there's also midterm, and I have midterm in quotes just because it's coming kind of early in the semester, but that way we can have the opportunity to really concentrate and focus on the other tasks for this class. So those the library research, the original research, and we can really spend our time with these articles, learn these articles well, learn some good reading techniques, learn some good writing techniques, because the midterm is going to be this practice WPA. So that's what we're doing these first 5 weeks. We're laying a little bit of a foundation through reading, through using some synthesis, the explanatory synthesis, so that you're combining similar ideas from articles, so you have multiple people and multiple experts contributing to maybe a single idea or multiple perspectives on a single idea, so that way you can kind of practice it in your first paper, because you'll be using that technique in your subsequent papers. And also we can learn those articles well, so that when you have the midterm week 5, you feel comfortable with it, and that's something you can really practice with and get the WPA down. So those are just the first 5 weeks. I described a little bit more about the subsequent papers in my second video, where I talked about what we would be doing in paper 2 and paper 3, and there's also a little bit more listed in some of the other documents, such as the syllabus and the living reader, that have a little bit more information about those, so that you can learn a little bit more about what to expect. So that's what's happening in the immediate future, so the next week, and then that's what's happening in the next month or so. So hope you feel a little more prepared after watching this and you're ready for the rest of the semester.